Ladies and gentlemen, I firstly would like to thank Wire India for having included us in this seminar. I think it has been a matter of chance when I came across Mr. Sahu just about 3-4 days ago, and fortunately for us there was an event in Delhi which was cancelled, and so we are here. And I'm quite overwhelmed by the presence of so many SMEs here, and I thought it would be an apt opportunity to sensitize and carry out a technology disclosure about the technologies which we at CDAC have developed, CDAC Kolkata have developed, and we would like them to be penetrated into the masses, into the society through the SMEs. So that is the sole aim of my talk. We also have a stall here, we have demonstration set up for you on the side. So I'll start with a little bit of a perspective about CDAC Kolkata, and CDAC as such, and then CDAC Kolkata. So Center for Development of Advanced Computing is a R&D organization under Department of Electronics and Technology, Government of India. Established in 1988. At that time the need of the country was to build a supercomputer of our own, because we were denied the Cray supercomputer technology from US. And we built the Param supercomputer. We are quite proud of it, and this Param supercomputer series has been continued. And that is what got CDAC into being as a project at that time. Since then, CDAC has grown from strength to strength, and today we have our presence in over 11 cities, 11 centers with about 3,000 employees. And we have certain thematic areas, as you see: the high performance computing, grid and cloud computing, multilingual computing and heritage computing, professional electronics including VLSI and embedded systems, software technologies including free and open source systems, cyber security and cyber forensics, health informatics, education and training. Unfortunately, most of the people know CDAC because of education and training, which is not our mainstream activity. Our mainstream activities are the research and development activities as we have outlined. And we have a lot of products, some of which have gained a lot of recognition. Firstly, I would like to tell you that our Param UR2 supercomputer, some of you might have read, has crossed it's the fastest supercomputer in India. Firstly, it has crossed the 500 teraflop mark, and it has also been rated as the 44th most green supercomputer in the world. That is, most green means it has something to do with the power consumption. Now, from supercomputing, we moved on to language technologies and all these focus areas. So that's all about a brief about CDAC. We have our headquarters in Pune, and the way we function is that we are a group of people, some of whom started their journey from Pune. Then there were a lot of centers, some of them were NCST, ERNDCIs. In fact, CDAC Kolkata is an offshoot of WEBL. It was first part of WEBL. Then it became Electronic Research and Development Corporation of India. And in 2002, there were a lot of centers that merged with CDAC. And CDAC became a big organization. So what CDAC Kolkata is doing are these. We have a flagship program on agriculture and environmental electronics. Most of the products which I will be talking about today are related with this. And that's why I am very happy that so many SMEs are here. And we would definitely like our technologies to reach the people. Then we have image processing and pattern recognition, signal processing. Some products are here. Software technologies, digital library initiatives, natural language processing, online handwriting recognition and speech processing. IT for masses and e-governance, perception-based engineering, cyber forensic training and information security. We are about 150 employees here in Kolkata. Now, before we get on to the technologies I am talking about, I would like to tell you that our scientists, how we get funded is that we put up some project proposals based on certain concepts which we get as sometimes needs from the users. Sometimes there are certain ideas which get reinforced by the requirement from the users. And when these ideas are funded by our parent ministry or sometimes by other agencies, then we implement these projects. We build production on the prototypes. We carry out field trials, field deployments. We gather some data. After gathering this data, we carry out improvements, innovations, customizations. And then the products are ready to reach the market. Now the problem is that we are expected to do our marketing. That is where the gap has to be filled. And that is where you all have to come in. So we have a system where we do the patenting, we take patents for our technology, and then we come up with expressions of interest where we tell the public that okay, we have so and so technology, please come and take it. And then we do a handholding for about 3 years with that company till the time the technology reaches the marketplace and gets into production. Now these some very unusual innovations which you will be seeing. The motivation was that agriculture continues to be the mainstay of Indian economy, so therefore we thought of making some innovative products. They are actually electronic instruments which are based on sensors. Agricultural commodities are marketed through a network of regulated wholesale markets. There are a lot of hands through which the agricultural commodity have to pass. And to protect the interests of producers and consumers, we have to have an efficient, objective system of standardization and evaluation. And these systems have to be free from malpractices, they have to be free from human subjectivity, judgment in human error, etc. So therefore, our scientists came up with some very innovative ideas. First, in the area of tea plantations. After tasting success in tea, we went on to rice, and then we went on to other products. So we really thank our sponsors from the Department of Electronics and Information Technology who gave us funding, encouragement and a lot of support for this flagship program called Electronics in Agriculture and Environment. With the help of which we have developed these products, and I am quite proud to say that 2 of these, or rather 4 of these products are already out into the market. We have done the technology transfer, and very well-known companies like Nagarjuna Fertilizers and Chemicals Limited have taken 3 of our products, rather the technologies. And there is a startup from Kolkata called ER&DE, Electronic Research and Development Establishment. The startup company like some of you who has taken 2 of these technologies. And these technologies are related to the quality evaluation of tea and rice. So as you see that there are certain quality indicators in various agricultural commodities. There may be color, maybe texture, shape, dimension, aroma, taste. Now to test all these things requires a lot of very complex processes. It requires laboratories. It's very time consuming, very expensive. So if you come up with a very innovative way, with a portable product, with a portable technology, so that we can do it at much lesser cost, and a lot of establishments, a lot of institutions can support such products, then I think it will be very useful for the marketplace. So we come up with things which we call the electronic vision, electronic nose and electronic tongue. These are nothing but sensor-based instruments, and they have a software backend, and they can give you the quality gradations on the computer screen. You can even get a printout if you want. And they are very objective, repetitive in their functioning. They are free of human errors, reliable, fast and cheap. Now this is what the electronic nose looks like. There is nothing but array of sensors inside. And this is the one for rice. So this one can even cook rice in between. You put some rice inside, boils the rice. Then the aroma which comes out from basmati rice is sucked in, and it is analyzed by these chemical sensors and you get a score. It has to be initially trained by a human person who is expert, and after training it with a few samples, this kind of a device can mimic the human perception. Similar kind of a thing, it's called the e-tongue. It's an electrode-based device which can be dipped inside. When we tried it with tea, it can be dipped inside the tea liquor and it can test the astringency of tea. It has also got a lot of potential, like we have used it for one of the establishments called VECC for detecting rare earth elements inside the sand, inside the soil samples. It also has a lot of potential in detecting soil fertility, carrying out soil fertility analysis. And I mean the potential is tremendous. Once the need is felt and people can tell us, okay, this is what we want, we can do it for them. This is an integrated InnoVision system, that is electronic nose and vision combined for tea. It's displayed, it's not displayed here right now, but the technology for this is already in the marketplace, as I said, and Nagarjuna Fertilizers and Chemicals and ERD both have taken this. And they're trying to mass manufacture it and proliferate it into the tea factories and the tea plantations. It gives a score like this. And also at the time when the tea is getting fermented in tea factories, it can give the optimum time of fermentation. It can indicate the optimum time of fermentation. And this is what it looks like. As far as the inside is concerned, it's got a camera, it's got an array of sensors. And the camera is a very ordinary web camera, a very cheap web camera. You don't need a very complicated equipment for this. The heart of the system is the software, which is doing a lot of complex image processing analysis. We have a device called the Annadarpan. The technology for this has also been transferred. And this technology, which is based on the eVision technology, can be replicated for a lot of things. Like right now it has been done for rice, so it can give you parameters like average length of the grains, average width of the grains, percentage of broken grains, color, etc. The same technology, as I will come later, has been used in the area of sericulture for distinguishing very subtle differences in silk yarn in the tussar sericulture area. It can be used for quality estimation of chilies. We have developed the device, we have patented it. We have come up with the expression of interest and trying to market it. It can be used for quality gradation of turmeric. These demands have come to us from Hyderabad, and these systems are under trial in the National Commodities Exchange in Hyderabad. It can be used for any kind of food grains, pulses, anything. This is the same thing I showed you. It's called aroma measurement device for rice. This is the Resham Darshan, as I told you. You put this is what the tussar silk yarn looks like, and you have various color palettes. You can match it with a color palette and give it a grade. So you can store these kind of silk yarns as per the grade. Why it is useful is because when naked eye, it can hardly distinguish the difference in color. It's a very subtle color difference. But when it goes for manufacturing, and when the cloth is manufactured out of it, the color difference is very, very evident. So therefore, the look of the cloth is spoiled if different kind of color silk yarns go into production. When you have the handheld e-nose, a more portable version of this is displayed here. The previous one, that is the Resham Darshan, is also displayed here in our stall. You can have a look at it. This is the e-spice system which we are using for grading the chilies. The concept is very simple, very novel, very innovative. This is again a very useful device which we have just tested in the sericulture area. Now, if some of you who are familiar with sericulture would know that when silk moth they lay their eggs, they are affected by a very debilitating disease called pebrine spore disease. Now, in case this pebrine spore disease is found in a silk moth, it has the potential of spoiling the entire crop of cocoons which come out of the eggs. And once that happens, the entire silk crop gets spoiled. So to nip it in the bud, we require, right now people are doing this analysis with the help of naked eye, with the help of this microscope which you see, this one. Now we have made a system where we automated the whole thing. So you have the microscope eyepiece connected to the computer with a transducer, and the whole thing can be seen by a computer, and using image processing routines, you can find out in case the silk moth is affected by the pebrine spore disease or not. Now these slides are made from sections which are cut out of the silk moth. It has been removed, it has to be pierced and some fluid removed from the silk moth, and then these slides are made and they are analyzed. So the crop, if it is affected by the silk moth crop, which is affected by the Febrile spore disease, can be isolated, and it saves a lot of bother for the silk growers. You'll be quite surprised that the tussar production of India is a lot of people, lot of tribals in the areas of Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Odisha, they are engaged in this tussar sericulture, and it is actually the mainstay for a lot of people. So government is giving a lot of encouragement to these kind of activities, and these kind of devices are going to be really useful in this kind of sericulture activities. So to sum it up all, as far as the agriculture and environment is concerned, on the left side, if you see, you have the e-nose, e-vision, e-tongue, and you have the kind of areas where we have gone into. So we've gone into tea, we've gone into rice. We have made an electronic nose for industrial odor monitoring. We have worked with the National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, Nagpur, and come up with the electronic nose for monitoring obnoxious odor from pulp and paper industries. It has the potential of monitoring pollutants in the air anywhere. We gone into chilies for e-nose and e-vision. We gone into turmeric. We gone into sericulture. We have also worked with the Spice Board of India and made devices called the electronic nose for the finding out when it is optimum to pluck the cardamom, because India is doing a lot of cardamom cultivation, a lot of cardamom is being exported. Then again, same thing for jasmine, because a lot of perfumes are made from jasmine. A lot of jasmine, they have some wax is extracted out of jasmine and exported. So they need these kind of things. So these devices are made for jasmine. We are going into areas where the electronic nose is required to detect cheese is optimally, fermented. Then to analyze soil and rare earth elements, and also to find out the rancidity in French fries. This is the food industry. Now I will be coming up with some innovations of ours which are in the form of ready technologies, again already patented, and we are ready to transfer them. These are based on image processing and advanced signal processing applications. The first one is a face recognition system. We've been working on it since long for the law enforcement agencies, and recently we come up with a system which we claim that it is better than a lot of systems in the world because it is very robust. It can accept inputs from a lot of sources like mobile phones, many kinds of cameras, even scanned copies of images, and it can actually find out if that face is actually there in the database and come up with nearest 50 matches, nearest 25 matches, nearest 10 matches as per the configuration which you do. And from there, of course, the human being has to take on. No face recognition system can give you 100% certainty that, okay, the image which you have given to the system is the image which is there. So human intervention is required, but then this kind of a system is very useful in a lot of applications. We have recently used it for election commission for deduplication of electoral rolls, because there are a lot of this is a very innovative application. A lot of people they try and generate voter ID cards from a lot of different districts, more than one district. So in order to deduplicate these electoral rolls, it has been found very useful. We are trying to use this technology for various other things like gate paper, analyzing the people who are giving gate from the photographs, the gate exam, the MTech exam, so many other things. Besides, of course, the law enforcement agencies. This technology is up for the grabs, and as an offshoot of this technology, we have made certain systems. It can be used for attendance recording, access control, because all said and done, it's a biometric technology. So it's a face biometric technology. You're using fingerprints as biometrics. You can use face as biometrics. You can use iris as a biometric. You can use voice as a biometric. So it's one of the biometric technologies. it's available. You can use it for visitor management systems in your companies. You can use it for attendance recording. You can use it for access control to certain sensitive areas where your face can be. As far as face recognition is concerned, it will give you the nearest 5, 10, 15, 20 matches. But as far as face verification is concerned, it is 100% accurate. We have tested it in our organization. That means if you have a database of faces, and each face is labeled that, okay, this face belongs to so-and-so. And then when that person comes again and he claims that he is so-and-so, both the faces can be matched, and then it gives 100% accuracy if it is the same person. So it can be used for visitor management system, access control, and a lot of things in organizations. Then we have a facial expression analysis system, which can, looking at a human video, a video of a human face can find out expressions like happiness, disgust, anger, surprise, fear, with the accuracy which you can see. It is being used by the Calcutta University Psychology Department and also some other schools like the Indian Institute of Cerebral Palsy, and there is a school called Alok Dhara which is working in the area of autistic children to measure the improvement in the state of the autistic children by their responses to videos. Now they are shown continuous videos, and the system keeps a continuous monitoring on those videos. And with it can measure, if a very humorous video is shown to an autistic child and his reaction is seen, this can measure the reaction of that autistic child and say, okay, it can give you a graphical representation of the reaction of or any human being, right to talk of an autistic child. And from there, you can find out, let's say after 3 months after treatment, whether that child has improved or not. So this is being used there. And a very innovative application once again of speech recognition as well as text to speech using mobile phones. Of course, right now it is there at the server backend. It's a speech-based access for agricultural commodity prices in Bangla. Now this system is also on demonstration here. A farmer can speak to this on any normal mobile phone, which is saying, you can dial a number. Right now we got one ISDN line coming on, the number is available. Anyone wants to try it, you can do so. But we want to commercialize this technology, and this is not only available in Bangla, it is available in right now 8 Indian languages. It's a project under the Department of Information Technology, the TDIL division, Technology Development for Indian Languages. So you speak to the phone, it recognizes your voice, and you speak the district name, it will prompt to you that, okay, I have recognized. Time is up, so I will not take much time. It will prompt to you the district name and will recognize, then you say the agricultural commodity name. It will fetch the agricultural commodity price in your district mandi and tell you in a realistic manner. So the model for engagement is that CDAC will develop the technology prototype stage, and they carry out the initial field trials. We file the patent for the technology and the product, and expression of interest is published. Then we invite the bidders, and non-exclusive transfer of technology is carried out through a bidding process. And as I told you, some successful transfers of technology have already been carried out in this model, and we expect many more from you all. Thank you very much.